of news that it's really hard to believe, but somehow, like, it exists. Like, somehow, this is actual news. This is actually going to be a thing that's going to happen. Why? I don't know, but let me just give you guys a bit of a throwback. Do you guys remember when I talked about Ice Age on Ice? When I made my discovery that apparently Ice Age on Ice is going to be a thing, where it's a live show where you look at the Ice Age characters in an ice skating show in the same veins of Disney on Ice, but now it's Ice Age on Ice. Well, believe it or not, there is another live show that's based on an animated film, but it is even stupider than Ice Age on Ice. Because the thing is, with an idea like Ice Age on Ice, you know that there's going to be some people who's going to watch it. But now, for the first time ever, I believe that they are now going to make a show literally made for no one. Ladies and gentlemen, I give you The Nut Job Live! Yes, do you guys remember The Nut Job? You know, the movie with that douchebag squirrel that nobody likes? The one that apparently made little money at the box office, but somehow they're making a freaking sequel out of it? With all the freaking squirrels and all the other freaking animals, and then at the end they all gotta do freaking Gangnam Style, and and especially the fact that Gangnam Style was already outdated when the movie was released. Yeah, now they're turning that into a freaking live show. And you know what's even more insane? Is that some of the people that made Cirque du Soleil are going to make this. I kid you not. Now, okay, let me just go over here in my source here from Cartoon Brew, saying that South Korean animation producer Red Rover has teamed up with Canadian performing arts company Monlove to create The Nut Job Live. Monlove, founded by Cirque du Soleil composer Ella Louise Allaire, with Martin Lord Ferguson as partner, also created Ice Age Live, A Mammoth Adventure, which is now in its third year of touring. Which, by the way, I just want to mention that Ice Age Live, A Mammoth Adventure, I double-checked on it. This is not Ice Age on Ice. This is actually a different production. Okay, so going more into this, the stage direction of the Nut Job Live is scheduled to be led by Guy Caron, one of the founding members of the first artistic director of Cirque du Soleil, and the world tour of the show will be coordinated by Barry Garber of Garber IMC. Nut Job Live is intended to run for 4 years in over 100 countries and will be accompanied by DVD sales, t-shirts, character plushies, and other merchandising sold on the site. And now let's go to a quote here from a representative at Red Rover. "We are excited that the Nut Job will be coming out of the screen into areas to meet with fans all over the world." Yeah, fans. All 3 of them. This is a bold step for Red Rover, and with the Nut Job Live being created together with the production team behind some of the greatest Cirque du Soleil productions, we feel that the quality and success of the show are already ensured. We believe Monlove will outdo even the already stellar performance of Ice Age Live. Okay, with all that said, let me tell you right now, okay, now, I can tell you this right now, I am not a fan of Ice Age. Me and almost everybody can say that they are not fans of Ice Age. But here's the thing. Okay, let me explain my biggest problem with this. You know, with something like Ice Age Live or Ice Age on Ice, that I can understand why they would want to make it. Because the thing is, as crazy of an idea that sounds with Ice Age, with a live Ice Age show, at the very least, you know that there's going to be an audience for it. I mean, there's no denying that Ice Age, yes, it is true like what they've advertised, it is the most successful animated franchise there is. Now with all of their 5 movies, they've made a total of more than $3 billion at the box office. And especially with, even though it's not as big in the US, it is big in other countries, like Brazil, in Mexico, in some areas in Europe, in China, in all these places. You can tell that there is an audience for Ice Age who would legitimately want to see Ice Age Live. With the Nut Job, on the other hand, who would want to watch that? And the thing is that they're like, the thing is that like the Nut Job is one of those very few movies that like very few people have seen, and barely any of those people who have seen it actually liked it. Hold on, let me just double check on something about the Nut Job. I just got to go on Box Office Mojo here, and looking at this, it like, yeah, the movie only made a grand total of like $120 million worldwide and just $60 million domestically. And keep in mind, like, and it's only been in like just a few places around, and just like it's only been released in a few, like, okay, like a good amount of places around the world, but yeah, like those places they've barely made any money, for God's sakes. But like the thing is that the movie made $120 million, so why put this up for 100 for like in over 100 countries? Like I don't think like I don't even think 100 countries know about the Nut Job, or at the very least, if they care about the Nut Job. For God's sake, it's like honestly, this is desperately pushing something into a franchise. Like, this is desperate, even more, like, this is even more desperate than Sony to push something into this big franchise. It's already enough that we have to deal with a freaking sequel that's coming out next year that nobody demanded. But now that they're doing a freaking Ice Age, like a Nut Job live, I remember I posted this on Twitter, and I received no, like, there was nobody who was excited for it. In fact, like, there were a lot of people who were mocking it, thinking that the only thing that's worth watching in this show is just gonna be a bunch of people in freaking fursuits that are gonna do the Gangnam Style. Like, seriously, like, why? And, like, the fact that they're, like, they really wanted to make this, like, this huge, elaborate thing with Cirque du Soleil. Like, why? Like, really? Is it really that big of a deal? Like, it makes no, like, honestly, it blows my mind. Like, why would they want to make an entire, like, big production on, like, a big Cirque du Soleil level production on freaking the Nut Job live? It makes no sense. Who's gonna watch it? Seriously. Like, what kind of people are gonna legitimately go out there and, like, go and watch the Nut Job live? Like, at the most, the only kind of people that I can imagine are just gonna be, like, those, like, the kind of, like, sleazy parents who don't care about their kids. They're just gonna leave, it's like, alright, kids, you go and watch the Nut Job live, I'm just gonna go outside for a smoke. You know, like, those kinds of people. I mean, like, really? Like, is the Nut Job that big to the point that it deserves a live show? I can think of so many other animated franchises, they don't even have to be good franchises, that deserve a live show before the frickin' Nut Job. And I mean, like, if anything, I feel like the Nut Job is one of those things in anime, like, in one of those things in general, that it really makes a statement that having a franchise doesn't mean jack all anymore. Like, I remember there used to be a day when a sequel would be released, it would mean something. When something would have this big franchise, it would, like, it actually means something. It's actually important. You know, like, you could tell that, like, this animated, like, a movie made such a big significance culturally and financially and, like, creatively, to the point that it deserves an encore. It deserves to be shown more. But in this case here, but with the Nut Job, like, not even just the Nut Job, now that we live in an age where, like, so many things that are franchises that shouldn't even freaking be franchises, like I can think of so many of them, like Alpha and Omega, Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs, freaking Planes, and even Norm of the North. Freaking Norm of the North. There's going to be, like they want to turn that into an entire franchise and release some directed DVD sequels or whatever. Like, it really and like, another example I could throw in, like, Open Season. Like, these have no right to be franchises, and yet there are so much more. There are, like, so many sequels out there, so many unnecessary sequels that nobody asked for, and, like, the Nut Job is the prime example of them all. It's a movie that absolutely sucks, that nobody enjoyed, yet somehow they're pushing for more of them. Like, somehow Red Rover is so delusional to think that people actually enjoy this, to the point that not only are they doing a sequel, but now they're doing an entire live show, which makes no sense. Like, that's the thing. It's that I'm looking at this, and who's gonna watch it? Seriously. Who's gonna, is there anybody out there who's legitimately gonna go and watch the nut job live because they want to see the nut job live on stage? Like, and I don't mean, like, ironically, not for gags and giggles to see something stupid. I mean legitimately watch the nut job live. It's just so stupid. It's one of the dumbest ideas. This is like, this is the equivalent of the Emoji Movie. This is an idea that's just so stupid that, like, you don't even know why it exists. You don't even know why people would want to go. Like, you don't know who would be so stupid and so insane enough to go watch this. It's crazy. Like, there's no way this is going to be a hit. There's no way that this, like, I don't know. It's like, I'm sorry. It's just, this is one of the dumbest things that I've ever heard. Seriously, a live show of the nut job. I mean, what's next? Like, what are we gonna have next? Are we gonna have a live production of freaking Escape from Planet Earth? Are we also gonna have a live show of Norm of the North? We might as well. The possibilities are freaking endless at this point. I mean, my God, seriously, man. We just don't need this. I mean, we don't need this at all. But anyways, that is all that I've got for this week. Thank you guys so much for listening to this episode of the Animation Podcast. You can find... Hey guys, this is Animat. I just want to remind you guys that this is just a little taste of what you can get with the Animation Podcast. This is not all of it. If you guys want to go and listen to the full episodes of the Animation Podcast, then allow me to show you some of the different ways that you can go. First off, you can actually go on the website that it is hosted on, Filmbook, so you can go directly onto there. You can also go and check out the official Filmbook Podcast YouTube page, so at least you don't have to go away from YouTube and you can listen to the podcast right there. But if you would like to listen on the go, like if you want to listen it to on your phone or on your iPad and all that kind of stuff, then you can listen to it on either iTunes or you can listen to it on Android. So those are all the different options, and if you'd like to have more info, then all you have to do is just check in the description down below. And with all that said, I just want to say thank you guys so much for listening, and until next time, see you later, dudes!